A very good afternoon to all the viewers of Elkem TV. This is our daily show that runs every Friday. That is from 2 to 3, called The Platform. And we use this show to talk about matters of national importance and how we can help our country transform, maybe for the better. In the studios of Elkem TV this afternoon, I am Kato Gilbert White, the host of this show, and I'm privileged to be hosting a very important guest, that is the former Mayor Masindi Municipality. I will request Honorable to introduce yourself to the viewers.
Yeah, good afternoon, our dear viewers and listeners at the same time. I welcome to this show. I'm Bishop Joshua Manyire Kiza Amoti, Emeritus Mayor, and I love you all and I wish you the best.
Thank you so much, Honorable. This afternoon, our topic of discussion is about the parliamentary corruption scandal. We want to look at what is going on in our parliament. We are seeing members of parliament being summoned by the police and the anti-corruption committee. So we shall look at that. Then later on, in the next segment, we shall look at the budget. That is the financial budget.
The national budget.
The national budget. That is 2024-2025, which is likely to begin this July. So we shall look at that. Then we shall end our show. To begin with, Honorable, I want to welcome you once again.
Thank you.
If you are to look at this corruption thing in our country, Uganda, this corruption thing, where is it heading us? How are we preparing ourselves for this? Where is it leaving our country? Because are we really safe? If you are to look at these corruption rates, at what countries? So, Honorable, give us your stand on that.
Well, thank you so much. I think corruption is a very big animal and very fierce. When we look at our nation being the third corrupt nation in the whole world, it is something that is scaring, embarrassing, and belittling our ethics, our morals, because that means corruption is not the nation, it is us, the people. It means there is no self-regulation among the people. The culture of transparency and accountability is lacking. We need to improve our public trust and confidence, and we also need to have effective mechanism for oversight and monitoring activities, our government activities, including enhanced integrity among the government, the civil service, and all other organs, and a comprehensive framework to be put in place.
Honorable.
When we look at that, then we need to ask ourselves, what is corruption? When we get to know what corruption is, and then we also need to know what causes it. When we look at what causes it, then we come to under what environment does it persist and gets promoted. we are now seeing our people, our leaders, His Excellency, our President, and the Chairman of our National Resistance Movement, NRM, where I subscribe. But Murinyoro bagamba tukujuka kujua kwesweka obwire bukeire. When all the night the mosquitoes have been sucking blood, biting us. So when it is now getting morning, it's when we wake up and say, hey, why can't I cover myself? When it is too late. Now, and we have a tendency of branding the evils in this country. The poor are called thieves. The rich are called corrupt. But to me, all mean the same.
But all that is being promoted by your party chairman.
What do you mean by promoting? You know, when you say promoting, it means you think it is the very person who makes meetings and gives commands that embrace corruption. But to me, as I will discuss later, this corruption is contagious. It is not this regime. Corruption has been there. In the past regime, it was so much of nepotism and vandalism. Now, since I said it is contagious from one person to another, from one institution to another institution, from one regime to another regime, it means all of us are sick. Now, corruption also brings in the form of injustice. People who want to access services without money, without favor, they experience injustice. People who are innocent in institutions, who do not want to embrace corruption, but their bosses, for instance, if you are cow, if you are minister, if you are PS, says I want this much, and you are the cashier. Says write this voucher and indicate I want 200 liters of fuel and give me per diem, 4 per diem. You write it and he is paid 4 per diem and he is given fuel 200 liters and he's going nowhere. Just to go home and rest. So this person who writes the voucher, this person who later on, the other one who releases the money, is in the circle of corruption, but it is being imposed on him. So some of this corruption is imposed on some people who are innocent. Then, as I said, in some institutions, it is an illegally accepted system to access service. It is illegally accepted. People devise their means of survival. They will tell you, here this one can be done, but for it to go through, the boss needs something. So the boss has some people, a structure, a system, a committee of people, agents in the system, in the institution, who are supposed to make money for him and for themselves. So it is an illegally accepted system. Now look at the current parliament. The speaker is aware of what is going on. When the people are talking, making noise of money given to the commissioners as a service reward, service award, or ex gratia, the speaker is aware there is no money that leaves the coffers of parliament without the knowledge of the speaker. Because these people themselves, you ask them, who told them to apply? And who made vouchers for them? Who authorized their payment? And who released it? Because they didn't break into the safe, the money safe. All this thing was through a system. You get me? So, and then when the people can't access justice, do you know what is going to happen? Corruption also has got some output. When the people cannot access services they are intended to, or which are meant for them, then violence is the alternative. You can look at our neighboring countries. The whole world now is plunged into chaos. It is everywhere you look at, every system, even those highly democratic states, there is a lot of demonstration. I was this afternoon looking at demonstrations in Kenya.
Kenya, it's worse.
Yeah, it is worse. Look at the demonstrations in all African countries, even in Europe, even in America. People are demonstrating. Why? Because corruption. Because they cannot access the services which are constitutionally meant for them. And why can't they access it? Because the system are corrupt. Now, political maneuvers. When you look at our systems here, for one to become a political leader, you have to bribe the voters. So when I see people saying, our country is corrupt, our leaders are corrupt, who is corrupt?
One of the good statements that I enjoy in my life was when the former late deputy speaker, he was the speaker by then, Jacob Olanya, he strongly uttered out a statement saying, Mr. President, we are all corrupt. I am corrupt, you are corrupt, and all ministers here are corrupt, and everyone seated here is corrupt. I enjoyed that statement in a way that it gave some light to the president.
Yeah, even our, I was telling somebody, when dogs make a lot of barking during the hunt for elephant, but they don't catch anything. When it turns around, they coil their tail and run back. But they make a lot of noise. Our people are making a lot of noise at the elephant. And when the elephant looks behind, they coil.
Who is the elephant in this?
The system.
I thought the elephant is another big man.
We have these anti-corruption agencies who tend to make some slight noise. IGG, Auditor General,
Human Rights
anti-corruption agencies. Those ones tend to make some noise. But when the big elephant looks behind, he says, what are you saying?
Who is talking?
Who is talking? They coil their tail and run back. Because these are appointed servants. So, even look at the voters. When we talk of corrupt politicians, who put them in power? I think it is us. And how do we put them in power? By voting them.
Through voting them.
And how do we vote them? Because they give us a lot of money. More than what they earn for the 5 years, for the 5 years tenure. What does that mean? What does it mean? If I tell my wife, I'm going to release her to demand somebody who has my 5,000, but going to release her is 20,000, coming back is 20,000, that is 40,000. I'm going to demand for 5,000, a deficit of 35,000. An understanding woman would definitely know I'm using that one as an excuse because I have a wife. I have an outgrower in Vulisa. So I'm using this 5,000 debt as an excuse. Now, our political leaders, they spend more than what they are going to earn. And how do you think they get that money? And where do they bribe? They don't buy animals. They bribe people. It is now who make radio calls, who make calls on radio, who are calling for president to arrest. I think even one of us should be arrested.
All of us.
All of us. Because we are bribed to vote people who are not worth the offices.
So we are part of the corruption.
Look at what is the saga going on at the district, at the municipality which is rotten now. Look at the parliament, where people go to fight and they keep on apportioning money for themselves.
Honorable.
Now, who puts those people in power?
We are the ones.
And after them giving us what? Money, we leave out people who matter and vote people who are not worth. Now, as I said, some corruption is imposed. If you don't embrace the system, you are either fired or killed, or something else is done on you because you are not embracing the system. You can see now.
Now, Honorable, thank you for that. You have given us a recap of what corruption is. Now, briefly, I want to take you through the summoned members of parliament. We have seen others being arrested already. We are seeing the one for MP for Igara West being arrested. And we have honorables like Elijah Okupa, MP Kaliso County, Abdu Katuntu Bugwere. We are even seeing some opposition members of parliament in this saga or scandal. We have Honorable Semujunganda, MP Kira Municipality. We are seeing Joel Sonyonyi, MP Nakawa East, and the leader of opposition. And what shook us most was our own Masindi, Dr. Florence Asimwe, Masindi woman MP. She was also summoned to appear to the CID offices. Kibuli. Where is it leaving the people of Masindi and Uganda at large? If MPs can embark on the taxpayers' money to pass bills that are not in support of everyone, but with the aim of getting kickbacks.
Yeah, these people now, as I say, the fighting corruption is fighting people's livelihood. Because the repercussions are very deadly. Now you can see all those are big people. They have only not mentioned the speaker.
She may be among.
She's aware.
She may be aware, but when she's even among
the other time you had the president complaining that even in the State House, there are people who bribe their way to see him.
Bribing to see the president?
Yes.
In person?
Yes, because some of them are demanding money and some of them want to see him for his pledges, like myself. Yeah? You know?
You owe the president?
Yeah, he owes me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, that is what we are saying. Now, when you fight these people, the next day you will not be alive or you will not be in office. That's why I say some corruption is imposed on some people. Somebody from Kampala comes and says, Chief or the cow, Chief Administrative Officer, can I have ABCD? The cow will accept. Tell the town clerk, if you want this money from Kampala, 10% must be left behind at the kickback. What did he expect the town clerk to say? They are giving him 2 billion. He needs to work on the roads. There are a lot of noise people are making and for uncompleted projects. They are giving him 2 billion. The other people want 200 million at tithe. What did you expect him to do? And he is also tempted that on the 200 billion he will have 20 million. The 180 remains for those people in Kampala. Do you think he will refuse? No. It was not his early arrangement, but it is imposed on him. Now, some corruption is sugar-coated and sealed. Eh? You know something? You know, have you ever swallowed tablets which are bitter, but they are sugar-coated, and they are sealed? Eh? Now, some of this corruption comes in that manner, very sealed, like that one in Parliament. Who knew that some of these departments and ministries, we are getting huge amounts of money, allocations, budget allocations, because they bought their way through the members of Parliament and committee chairpersons. Nobody knew. The money is illegally passed, but after bribing, you get some ministries which really have a lot of issues and concerns getting little money. Like now, the Ministry of Youth, which Honorable Dr. Balam is heading, got 9 billion. For the whole year, the whole country. Police is given 900 billion. But some other ministries are getting in trillions. What
the ministry is getting 9 billion.
9 billion in the budget allocation.
And Uganda Police?
Uganda Police 900 billion. But other ministries also are getting 4-5 trillions. You get me? Yet the youth, which are getting peanuts, are the majority. They form 78% of the population. When these people are not catered for, of course, government urges that the youth are being catered for in other sectors, like in education, in military, in police, or in forces. Yes, but when you look at the majority, active poor, the poor that, it is the youth who are supposed to be a stem for this nation. You get me? If these borders, if you in the media sector, if those in the mechanical engineering, the mechanics, the borders, the teachers, if government would put much more, organize this for their circles, say the media fraternity, we are giving you this money, and at the district, at the different level, be organized and use this money to empower you for development. You get me? Now you are giving them 9 billion for the whole country for the 12 months, which is a year. That is a peanut. Now, as I said, so you know how systems are now getting, even here at the district, even at the municipality, you will get a department. Some departments getting money, and yet they are doing nothing. Yet those which are meant to do something, they are given a little money.
Honorable,
yes.
You have reminded me of something. That is the PDM.
Yes.
Parish Development
Model.
They were giving, was it approximately 1 million to each and everyone interested. But a friend of mine, I will not mention his name here, he told me you are eligible to get that money, but you will sign papers and you will sign for 800,000.
That one was like others were signing for 500.
You will sign for 800,000. It's what you will receive.
If you don't comply, you don't get it.
You don't get it. You are signing for 1 million, but you are getting 800,000.
So that's why now.
But the papers are clearly saying 1 million.
So
where is this leaving
like
Uganda?
Now that's what I'm saying. When you look at that noise in the parliament, that noise everywhere. The accuser, the accused, the accuser and the accused, or are traitors. The one who is accused and the one who is accusing, all of them are traitors. You know, when you can see this drama in the accused, the accused and the accuser, all of them are traitors. When you look at the parliament, now you ask, I was in parliament recently, I found the Honorable Sekikubo with his table, which he claims he claims that the clerk to council has the sergeant at arms has removed it.
Why?
They have told him to remove it. So now you ask yourself, Sekikubo, didn't he sign for the 200 million for the cars?
He signed it.
How did they increase that money from 150? Because earlier it was 150 to 200. Every time, Sekikubo has been there for more than 3 times. Every time he buys a car, do they return that car, which they used in the previous Kisanja?
The old car?
Whether old or not, but do they return it?
No, they don't.
So now, how many vehicles has he got from Parliament?
Probably 3 now.
Or more. They are going to sign for 170 million for fuel per person. That fuel has increased. Has it only impacted the members of Parliament and not others? Has the cow, the town clerk, the chairman 5 and others increased their fuel because the fuel prices has increased?
No.
Now, when they receive this money, which normally lands as manna on their account, 10 million, 15, 50, 100, has he ever made noise? If, these others, the ones you read, in fact, this man from Uganda was one of the people who signed first for the censor of the commissioners. Now he's also arrested. The accuser, together with the accused, all of them are traitors. So that is the kind of corruption, as I said. Even us, as we are making noise, when these people are coming back for elections, we are also going to demand money. One day, one of the members of Parliament in Masindi here was in a talk show with me. He said, me, I receive this money, good enough. I take it back to my people, I give it to my people.
Has he ever done it?
I don't know whether he gives it to them. So it means the people who receive it also are supporting corruption. That's why even I said the other time that even in churches or worship places, these members of Parliament go and steal money, come back and give heavily in the churches, 2 million. And the reverend or the father or the sheikh will say, may God bless you, may God bless you, and add you more where you have got it from. Now where has he got it from?
From the national treasury.
Mukama kongeroho omukisa nambero ihire. You are manyira ihire nka. So you are like promoting corruption because you are telling him God to bless him and protect him so that he is not arrested. Some of these people have been there because they have been protected by even our prayers. Our son has come. Our son is
honorable.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Now, as we end the first segment of this show,
I wanted to talk briefly about the causes. Now, some of these causes of corruption, why some of these people are doing this?
In about 2 minutes.
Yes, it is because of income inequalities. When you see some people earning more, yet for you are doing much more, there is a saying that when you read more books, you do little work, and you earn more.
Yes.
When you read a few books, you do a lot and earn little money. But now you have all read all the books together. Somebody in UNRWA is earning 3 million. Yes, UNRWA and the URA is a copy typist or a stenographer. But a cow, this chairperson are earning less than 2 million. This stenographer is earning about 4 million 5. That's income inequality. The way Parliament does things, this is the problem. Why are others getting much more? It is like the animal farm, the book of animal farm. 2 legs better, 4 legs good, 2 legs better. You see? Now, greed. People of Parliament are getting more than 45 million. Could we expect, and they are given that much money so that they maintain the degree of ethics and integrity. But now you see they are the people abusing their ethics and integrity. You earn more and you get stealing.
Honorable, a little bit there. Can't this suggest for the amendment of the minimum wage bills?
Now, who makes the minimum wage bill?
The parliamentarians.
Who are the policy makers?
The parliamentarians.
We should have independent organ, either from outside to propose the salaries, including the parliament. But now, it is them people, together with the speaker. Do you know how much the speaker gets?
I saw her gifting the Uganda cranes of recent 50 million Uganda.
Now that is something small. That is
There
something-
is another fundraising where she was and she
You know,
gifted 200
Every
million.
day she does not earn less than, I think, 300.
million.
These are people earning a lot of money. Now,
Her budget is undefined.
whenever they travel abroad, every night is like 40 million. Have you ever seen a room of 40
That
million?
is a life-changing token of a
Yes.
certain Ugandan.
Uh-huh. This is what I'm saying. That is income inequality, greed. Then you look at job insecurity. People fear for their jobs. Eh?
You can lose your job anytime.
Afanda has said, you make that thing. Eh? I'm meaning Afanda in the civil service, not in the army. Omukuru agambye, director agambye, gwe wandiika, tobuuza. Somebody makes a voucher of 18 million weekend. And because you know the boss will also from 18 million, he will give you at least 300,000.
Okay.
You also go and enjoy your kwete.
Honorable.
Well, the other one is enjoying in Sheraton, for you enjoying kwete in Nakawa.
Honorable, as we are winding up this show, the first segment,
Mm.
what are some of the solutions
Mm.
that we should put in place to combat corruption? Because it is becoming rampant straight from the State House
The government,
to
the
the
president,
LOC1 chairperson.
the president had tried to put some gatekeepers,
Mm.
like the IGG, as I said, the State House, anti-corruption, ethics and integrity, Auditor General, and the courts of judicature, NGOs, and the civil society organization.
Mm.
By the way, even the civil society organization and the NGOs have failed
Mm.
because I think they are also the most corrupt people.
They are also in the
NGOs,
corruption
nothing
system.
going on because they are there, eat money, you don't see
No,
any
it's
impact.
not nothing going on.
Mm.
It is non-government organization.
Yes, but nothing going on. What are they doing?
They can't fight corruption.
They can't because they are corrupt. Yeah? Now, those would be the people. Now, corruption is now, it is built up like an explosive. It is concealed in the system. Parliament, local government, park, public accounts committee, contracts committees, district service commission, procurement. It is concealed there. You don't see it. You know, this is an invisible poison. You don't see it, but you find yourself sick.
Mm.
And that's why systems are crumbling. Government services are not being... now, what we can do, as you said, because... And what has pained me is that they are selective, punitive measures. The big are exempted when they are arrested. And the small ones are penalized. When the big man steals money, even when he goes to prison, the president will pardon.
Like this iron sheet saga.
The iron sheet saga. Now, they tell
Prime
me,
Minister was not touched.
in the iron sheet saga, who
Matia Kasaija
was the
was
first person?
untouched.
Who was the first person to be arrested?
Was it Nandutu?
And who would have been the first person?
No one.
The head.
And who is the head?
Of course, you know.
Prime Minister.
And the other ministers
Matia Kasaija.
who came and declared that they found the iron sheets in
For
their
him,
compound.
he said he just found them there. He
I-
doesn't know how they reached there.
I don't know what was the Air Gulf or Ethiopian Airlines that brought them. I don't know. So you can see now. But it is small Nandutus who have been in the media because this was picked and they think he was penalized. Kitutu and Nandutu and the others.
Ephraim.
Yes. So selective punitive measures. Now, when you look at also political patronage, some agents of corruption are shielded from being reprimanded. Later will come, watch Auyo. For some time I will deal with him.
Where is the letter coming from?
From the unknown big shots.
What are those unknown big shots?
So, me, I would think we treat corruption, all concerned stakeholders, the faith groups, including the Muslims, Catholics, and others, those faith should come up, at least to back government in enforcing laws against corruption. But what disturbs me is even when some members of their church, of their sector are arrested, you find a reverend, a bishop or archbishop or a mufti going to the president to ask,
begging for his release,
for release or for the pardon.
That's true.
And now, what picture does it give? Now, the speaker comes out and say, police will not arrest the members of parliament without informing her. Did these people inform her when they were stealing the money?
No.
It means when she wants to be informed, it is very clear even when they were stealing, she was aware.
She may even alert them for them to disappear.
Yes. If I'm coming to arrest your child at home, I don't need to tell your father that I'm coming to arrest your son.
You get to know it.
Yes. So you can find that. You can see that one. When some people are exonerated from some cases, like these ministers and the others who really carried the mabati. Look at around here when the other man came here to arrest those who had done shoulder work here. Is anybody in prison?
No.
Now, when a sub-counter chief sees heads of department at the district who are embezzling lots of money and they are being exonerated, what do you expect him to do? To do likewise.
Yes.
So all of us need to be exemplary. The accuser and the accused. And all systems must come together. Even us as wananchi, we should join the government
in the fight.
Yes. Now, especially now when we are electing our leaders who are coming in to lead us, and those are the leaders who are being corrupt. Let us be very careful.
Okay.
This Service Commission and the Public Commission should also be very sensitive. Somebody may have all the papers, but he does not have the moral authority.
Thank you so much, Honorable Amanyire Omuiruntu Joshua, Bishop, in quotes. We are going for a very short commercial break, and I would like to inform you that corruption affects us all. Let's live in a Uganda that is corrupt-free. We will be back for the second segment. Keep tuned. We'll be back from that short commercial break. This is the platform that runs every Friday from 2 to 3. And in the studios, I have Honorable Amanyire Joshua Muiruntu, the Bishop, and I am Kato Gilbert White, the host of this show. Next, Mr. Honorable,
Yes.
we are going to look at the national budget. That is financial year 2024-2025. We saw this budget rising from 54 trillions in the last financial year to 72 trillions. Where is this leaving Uganda?
Well, at times these are gimmicks in Parliament. As I said, the doctor and the patient are all sick. The Parliament, which is intending to make the budget, or which has made the budget, is sick. And the people it is making budget for are also equally sick. So, budget. Of course, we have formally 3 kinds of budgets: the balanced budget, deficit, and the surplus. I don't think we have ever had a surplus budget here, and the balanced budget, because every time here we keep borrowing money, and our debt burden, I think, has greatly increased.
Yes.
Now, looking at the budget, which was recently concluded, one would ask, I would be tempted to ask, does it meet people's demands? Because formerly me, I've lived in different regimes. The budget, people would, those days people would sit down at the mango tree. There was no FM around, it was only Radio Uganda. Would all gather there to find out the prices of essential commodities. Paraffin, sugar, salt, shop, and employees would also want to hear increment in salaries. But people have, I think, lost interest in the budget.
It has lost meaning.
It is no longer pro people, it is pro some institutions. Because out of the budget money, you may find what trickles down to the people from every institution or ministry is less than 30%. The 80% is spent in the center to buy cars, workshops in powerful hotels, printing handouts. That is where people get their way to eat the money. They will organize a powerful conference in Sherena, and then invite some people from Karamoja, invite people from Arua to come and see the lights in Kampala. You go there, spend 5 days. The hotel is being paid 5 million per day for just one room, conference room. The meals every day, you find yourself. The hotel may be 10 million, and meals 10 million. 5 days, that is 100 million.
Lost.
That is lost. Now, what about transport for the participants?
Transport refund.
Accommodation, out of pocket, also around 200 million. 5 days, 300 million. So, does it help anybody in this country? No. And what they discuss has a very little impact on the ground. So, if the budget is not meeting people's demands, now you can see people are crying. Of course, fuel, the prices have hiked up. Sugar, and all these essential commodities. Taxes have risen. Instead of now looking for a way, as President Museveni has already said, we need to improve and increase and expand our tax base. When you expand the tax base, you expect much more money. That's why I was saying, I go back to the youth. If the youth constitutes 78%, leaving the rest age group brackets at 22. What would a sensible person do is to look for these 78, empower them to be productive so that they are fully engaged in the productive sector. Now, when the 78%, at least if the 50 are in the productive sector, active production, you expect some good money as tax. But when you empower people like myself who are aged, and I'm almost looking at my evening hours, of course, I may be productive, but you leave me with a big burden of dependence. I will do no saving.
Yeah.
But if your youth are empowered, you are going to see this country. That's how most economies that have developed have empowered the non-formal sector and the energetic and majority age group who are the youth. Because for one, they have the power, they have the will, they have the zeal, and they have the vision
to be somewhere.
Yes, because they see a need for them to work. Now me, I'm looking at a need to save
for your retirement.
For my retirement. So I think the greatest focus should have been on the youth, should have been on agriculture, industry, health, and education.
Someone outside there will ask him or herself, where is this money going to come from? Because already the taxes are there, but they are strangling people. People can no longer manage the taxes. Now, this budget has risen to 72 trillion from 54. That is a very big gap. It would have reached maybe 60 trillion, and someone says maybe. But from 54 to 72, someone is asking, where is all this money going to come from?
This one is called a budget estimate. Because the money that was budgeted as income is not yet in the coffers. It is what we expect to get. But already we have also budgeted ourselves on how much we shall spend. And the expenditure does not wait whether you have collected or not.
No.
People must get their salaries. Medicine must be in hospital.
Yeah.
The recruitment of teachers and other civil servants, soldiers, police must go on. So now you ask yourself, what do we need to do? And that's why I'm emphasizing that the age groups, I mean the youth, the country should devise means of broadening the tax base. Now, the local investor is being taxed. A local investor. Instead of being empowered, we are now empowering the foreign investors. We give them tax holidays. They are not paying tax. We give them land.
And that's money.
Free land, yes. Any tax they don't pay, that's on accounts. They are given free land. They are handled with soft gloves. A local investor will be harassed by Uganda Revenue Authority. He has to rent or buy land. And the other taxes will all ram into his head. Instead of protecting our local investor, we are protecting the foreign investors. You see the problem? The youth, I still emphasize. Now, if you look at these Malayas, the people you call Malayas, sex workers, they call them sex entertainers. They are also in the entertainment industry. If you empowered them to get out of that job and get saloons, those people are willing to work. Even some people you see around or in Kampala, you know, the reason why I thank President Museveni, before 1986, some of you are not yet born. You are not yet introduced under the sun. Now, these people, we had a problem. We would go to Kampala and expect out of the 100 people from Masindi, 50 people or 60 would come back crying.
Why?
Pickpocketers. because there were a lot of idolism. But because some of these guys were got, picked, and given something to do, saloon, border, and they were engaged. Now, some of these crime
Had to reduce.
Now, if you are going to reduce the level of poverty, we have to look at the dependents and the floating unemployed population. Because the moment it is floating unemployed population keeps on, there will be a very big problem because they are sucking the milk, which is not enough for them.
Now, we have seen some ministries getting the lion shares, like the Ministry of Defense and Security. Someone outside there would like to know, if Uganda is not at war, where is all that money going?
Security.
We fight other wars, but the security as a ministry is getting the lion's share. It's among the ministry with big amounts.
Security, defense, internal affairs, you don't need to budget only when there is war. You must be prepared.
Yeah.
But nevertheless,
it's too much.
That's why some committee chairpersons and their vices are being arrested. As I said, some of these ministries bribe their way through committee chairpersons and members of parliament
to get lion shares.
Even locally here, either to the admin or district admin, local government or municipality, or even at sub-counties, some departments bribe their councillors.
Put our ministry there.
Yes, give us this, give us this, give us this. We shall give you this. They take him to Colopin. For the councillors, you give 50,000. They go back home praising you, and they will even give testimony in the church that God blessed them. It was a miracle. Yet they are doing a disservice. They will come crying. Now the engineering department, road works, which is supposed to have good money, and yes, to build schools, to make roads, they give them little money because the engineer has not bought his way in. Now you have given money to a very small sector which does little or nothing. Now the engineer will tell you the money for fuel for graders is this, and it is not enough. You see? And this is what is happening, what you are saying. Some ministries getting a lion's share, while others are picking peanuts. They are given just, when you look at their money, it is a drop in the ocean.
Even the police.
Even police. You can see,
how will they
if
be
one
able to
day
fight corruption?
If only one day you stopped police from working, this country will be hell.
True.
But can you imagine 900 billion for the entire police, where you need to buy, because these people need standby fuel.
What about their counterpart institutions like the prisons and the EPDF?
Those ones are all them.
Actually, EPDF is under the defense.
Yes. When you look at prisons, at least prisons can support themselves. Number one, they have prison farms. At times they sell kawunga and the others, but they also need to be looked after. And they are not many, because for their services are indoor service. But now imagine police who must travel at night to arrest. They are every time engaged with criminals. We need Kabangali filled with fuel. You know, every time they are writing statements, we need pens and papers. Everything. In fact, police do much more work than defense, because the defense, unless you are being sent to Somalia, where it is an opportunity for you to get money in dollars, unless you are sent into Congo, where you can also jump out with some piece of gold if you are not seen and caught. So police is on every day sacrificial duty, because either you come back alive or dead, because the enemy, the criminals you are hunting, are also armed. Now when you look at what the defense gets, it is more than 20 times what police is getting.
Honorable.
Now, a Minister of Education,
The UPE schools and the
UPE schools,
SCE.
you can't blame the heritage. How much money comes as UPE? Very little. When you look at agriculture, we would be having money for irrigation, because now we have a 2 maximum rainfall, but the other period of time we are in a drought. Like now, people would be producing throughout the year if we had the irrigation system. Look at our works. We need the railway system.
Honorable,
We need
someone
good roads.
outside there may wish to know, was this budget increase not affiliated to the corruption increase?
Of
Because
course,
money is going to lie idle and snatchers are ready for it.
yeah, of course, after the arrest of these people, whom the president claims they have been dealing with some ministries, and getting bribes for them to balloon their budgets, I think I would believe it is true.
Okay, as we end up this show, Honorable, where is it leaving Ugandans? The
Of course.
budget increase.
As usual, the budget increase, if it was for people, for people's demands, as I said, every budget must meet people's demands and aspirations. Yes, it would be okay. Increasing the budget has no
So
problem.
this budget
But
is not for
my
Ugandans.
problem is, it is increased to be spent on what? Where is the money going to be spent? Is it going to be spent on invisible service, or it is going to be spent on capital activities? If I can see roads being made, but me, I would even I'll propose that we even reduce the size of parliament. Why do we have 590?
90.
For what? Doing what, sincerely? Some people go there to sleep, slumber, and they don't even get what. In fact, they also come back and watch TV
But they
to
are
find out
pocketing-
what they spoke in parliament.
They are pocketing millions monthly, and we have no drugs.
A
in
minimum of
hospital.
45. And that money spent on parliament per month can run 4 districts, a budget of 4 districts. Now imagine spending money on passive personalities who are doing nothing but slumbering. They only wake up when the speaker says, the I and yeah.
Okay.
And you find out who are the I, what have they said? They don't know.
Honorable Amanyire Joshua, can you
And
give
two-
us your final words
Yes,
as we end
and two,
this
as
show?
we end.
Mm.
These ministers, as I said, me, I've lived through some regimes. Have you ever seen any minister coming to Masindi here to hold a rally?
No. I saw them of recent when Balam.
Yes, they only came to,
Thanksgiving.
yes. But in those days, the Minister of Agriculture would come, and farmers would be there. They would tell him their problems. Minister of Education would come. All schools would gather. Minister of Works would come. All the engineers and the sub-county people would come. Minister of Health would come. But these people are now Kampala ministers. They are not national ministers. And yet, in their budgets, they have fuel for traveling
All over the country.
all over the whole country. But these are the people who sign money and keep in the offices or go to their places and rest. They should also be arrested.
Honorable Joshua, your final words.
Why
as
are they
we
given
end up this
vehicles?
show. We are time bad, Honorable. Give us your final words.
Yeah, my final word is Uganda is a part of Africa. We have a lot of resources. We even have capacity even to raise our budget to 100 trillion. But my worry is, with this rate of corruption, the money, we may not have value for money we have budgeted for. It is being spent. There is what you call wasteful expenditure. If I had the time, I would talk about wasteful expenditure, where money is spent on non-issues, on things that do not benefit the public, but it benefits either small groups of people or individuals. But I would wish our money be spent for activities that will help our country develop and go to another level, so that we also go to the takeoff stage. Yes.
Thank you so much, Honorable
You're
Amanyire Joshua Mwiruntu, for your time. It has been the platform show that runs every Friday from 2 to 3 p.m. and I'm Kato Gilbert White, the host. Keep tuned for the next programs. A good afternoon to you all.
Yeah.